Welcome, I'm Jarod DeAnda, and this is Snap-on Tools Great Garages. In this episode, we find ourselves in Mooresville, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte, at the 400,000 plus square foot facility that is Team Penske's racing headquarters. Let's start where it all begins. So I'm here with Ben Atkins, who is fabrication manager. Ben, how you doing?
Doing good, man.
Good,
Thanks
good.
for coming.
Oh, thank you. Even behind the camera, there's some things we can't show, but behind us, we are showing some things.
Where it all starts here is the center of the car, the roll section. In this room is where we're putting it all together.
It's such a cool, impressive facility, and that's what we're doing here. We're going to show the fans how great this garage truly is. And obviously, high-performance vehicles demand high-performance tools.
We have a lot of cars, and we rely on Snap-on a lot to get us there and put these things together.
How many cars are we looking at?
Right now, we've got somewhere in between 60 and 70 cars in some level of rotation, from the bare cage all the way up to the finished car, which is loaded up and heading down to Daytona right now.
Not only are there a bunch of hand tools, Snap-on tools around here, but
Sure.
all the cabinets. I mean, there's got to be the most Snap-on tool cabinets I've seen anywhere.
Anybody knows Roger or knows anything about him, the guy is right. The marriage between the two companies is fantastic. What we have here is the center roll cage. NASCAR is really worried about safety, so all of these center sections are all the same between each of the teams. They have all the same roll hoop structure, door bar structure, and halo structure around the driver to keep them as safe as we can. We left the chassis shop. This is our body fabrication room. So we're standing here on a surface plate, one of the 10 we have here in our facility. It's a perfectly flat, level surface. We can do all our measurements. In this room here, we're gonna hang all of the body sheet metal panels, the greenhouse, the hood, the nose, and the tail.
Specifically, this is an Xfinity vehicle. So you got composite and metal, as well as the hood. It's metal by comparison to a Cup car.
The Cup Series allowed us to run a carbon fiber hood. In the Xfinity, we still run a steel hood. All of the sheet metal panels on the side are all steel. There's a minimum thickness we can be. We try to get as small as we can. We don't want to be any heavier than we have to be.
This car in particular, it's going to find itself in Fontana, right?
Right, yep. This is our Fontana car we're building up for about the 4th or 5th race in the season. Mile-and-a-half car, gonna go real fast.
Where's the next stop after this?
Now we got the body in the car, we're gonna go put some color on it. So next stop, paint shop.
Well, we've hung the body, it's ready for paint, and actually one is getting painted behind us, but there's quite a few booths lined up here.
In our Penske facility, we have 5 paint booths. They're all with PPG. They all have a downdraft, so it allows us to use the water-based paint. It has a fan in there that lets it dry.
What's kind of a weight advantage or disadvantage to paint or wrap?
The paint looks really good. Paint scheme dependent a little bit and weight dependent.
So function and fashion, obviously working all out.
Exactly.
What kind of science fiction thing are we looking at here?
This is the NASCAR inspection grid. NASCAR has a shape that all the cars have to conform to, and our job is try to make the big places big and the small places small to maximize performance on the racetrack. So they have different colors telling us what sizes we can be. So blue represents we have a 1/4 inch tolerance. This car is going to speedway. We want to be as small as we can, low drag. So what we've done here is made the fender as small as we can within their tolerance, but still trying to shoot through the wind.
I just want to call you Coach, but if you would, please say your name and what you do here.
Trent Cherry, I'm the pit coach for the Cup side. We're given everything we need here to do well. It's just up to us to make sure we perform. And in the last 24 months, we've made a ton of gains. We ended last year 2 of the top 10 teams with our 22 and 2 car. I think we've got 2 top 5 teams this year.
Here with Matt Gimbel, who's production manager. Let's take a look at some of the parts that you guys actually manufacture in that machine shop.
Sure. So this is an oil tank top that we design and manufacture here at Penske Racing. With our Mazak machines that we have, we can make this part in 2 operations, do the turning and the milling all at one time. So this is how we feed oil into the oil tank, and it sits on top of the oil tank in the car.
Well, obviously high-performance vehicles demand some high-performance machinery. What kind of machines are you utilizing in there?
We're using some of your standard lathes and mills, things like that, but we also have some bigger machines in there, more capable machines, all multi-axis stuff. Allows us to do many operations all at one time to get the parts done quicker.
All the production that's going on in there, how important is it to have a high degree of a high quality tool such as Snap-on tools?
It's very important. You need to know what you got is going to work. The tool quality is just outstanding, and we're not really worried about a tool not working.
I'm here with Mr. Matt Johnson, who is crew chief for Will Power. How you doing?
Excellent.
And behind us is Will Power's vehicle. How does an Indy car here in the Penske facility come to life?
It's a big process that happens to these cars. We get a chassis in the door, probably looking at about a month before it can go on the racetrack. We do our own quality control to make sure that it's the tolerances that we want it to be. As our equipment gets better and better, we can get the tolerance closer and closer on these parts. That also becomes more work. Obviously, big dividend on the racetrack when you can take one car, jump into another car, and it's exactly the same.
And you operate a 4-car team. You're specifically for Will Power. Are you swapping parts or anything like that?
Just because of engineering has become so good, we can actually do this with confidence. When we come home, we divide up in groups of front end group, middle of the car, and the rear end group. So we go in, and there's members from each driver's crew that all intermix.
Let's walk through a scenario. You grab the trophy, your driver drinks the milk. What happens when the vehicle comes back here?
We come back here, and on the plane home, more or less, the work list gets created for the following day. We get home, we're typically 12 hours later in here in the shop again, tearing into these cars. It takes us about a solid 2 days to do that, and sometimes you only have a day and a half at home. So then you have to carry that half a day's work over to the racetrack.
I gotta ask, how do you compare your facility here to the rest of the IndyCar field?
I think this is state of the art. It's huge, but that's not the impressive part. We look around here and everything is snap-on cabinets with stainless tops. We're fortunate to be here.
Well, good luck this season, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, again, obviously you're cheering for Will Power, but we'll see how you stack
Any
up,
day.
even against your own drivers.
That's right.
This vehicle here, Brad Kozlowski's number 2, which I understand is going to race in Phoenix, has been painted, but it's missing some things. Where are we at?
Finished fabrication, we do all the things that connect the outer body to the inner body. So it's the windows, the glass, and the things that connect the body to the motor. So the radiator, ductwork, stuff like that. So once we finish the car here, we're going to put the motor out in assembly.
All right, is that next stop?
That's the next stop.
Let's go. Well, we've left Fab Finish, and it's really obviously coming together. The graphics, the paint, everything. What else needs to be done here as it makes its way down the line?
Down here, we're putting the motor in, putting the wiring in, brakes, suspension, all that stuff. We also got our 4-poster in there. We're checking the compliance on it, make sure all the loads are where we want to be. We got scales in the corner. We can load the car up. In NASCAR, we don't have data acquisition systems on board. We've started migrating that way with the fuel injection, but we're not tracking spring loads. We're not tracking heights of the shock travels. When we go through inspection at the racetrack, we're up high. But on the racetrack, we want to be down low and put the car where it wants to be, which is splitter on the earth, spoiler in the air. Chris Yoder, you are transportation coordinator. The car is built and now it is in your willing hands. They are finished and they're ready to go to the track. What kind of operations or logistics are you exactly in charge of here?
Everything in the kitchen sink. My role is I manage everything that has wheels here at the building. That's not a race car, so that's about 120 vehicles total, which includes the race trailers. We have a lot of moving logistics, a lot of moving parts to do what we need to do. The name of the game is to be efficient. So we have everything in the trailer that we need to go racing and then some.
How many times are these trucks and vehicles going in and out of this door?
Unlike some other motorsports series that go out and race to race to race, we go home and then to the racetrack and back home 38 weeks of the year. Most weeks it's only 2 days home, which is just enough time to turn the cars around, turn the trucks around, reload, and back down the road. We do a lot of work in-house here to minimize downtime as opposed to taking it out to a shop. So it's critical that we have the right tools for the job at hand, and we're blessed to have the partnership with Snap-on that we do.
From what I understand, you got a truck to drive. You got to get to the track, right?
That's right.
Right on. All right. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Jared.
Well, we've shown you the impressive facility here at Penske Racing. We saw the birth of a Cup car, Xfinity, IndyCar, the pit crew, even the vehicles that take the race vehicles to the racetrack. This is one of many Snap-on Tools great garages. Please join us for the next installment.